Kitpvp.club, a Kitpvp server run by the owners, Monster and Sebi, ran for about 5 months, and over that time, the server has been running over a bunch of rough patches. Having reached a peak of over 100 players, the server looked like something that would just continue growing over the next few years. But for some reason, everything just died. It was regular to see next to no players on the server, and no one was buying anything from the store, like ranks and crates. Why did Kitpvp.club die? How did something so promising go from a growing server down to nothing? I'm going to be talking about that one thing today in the rise and fall of Kitpvp.club. On June 23rd, 2020, the YouTuber Other, also known as Eric OG or just Eric, uploaded the video titled The Best New Minecraft Kit PvP Server. In that video, he showed his viewers around his new server that he was offered to work with. This server was based around the Pit, a high-pixel minigame. You would choose a kit that had a certain ability and armor, then jump down into a PvP area where you would kill other players. For every kill, you got a head, leveling up XP, and a certain amount of emeralds. When you got enough emeralds, you could upgrade things like G-heads and kit perks, and in-game items like punch 2 bows or a rod. The gameplay was very original, and most of Eric's fan base was really eager to try it out. However, the server was not quite ready to be released. For one thing, the events were not working, and the builders were already working on another map that they would replace the current one with. So they decided to release something on the store called the Beta Pass. When you bought the Beta Pass, you got access to the server, got direct contact with the owners, and a cool tag, I guess, to flex on other people. A few days before Eric made his video on June 19th, there was an open beta, where all players could join the server for a limited time. The open beta was a big success, bringing over to 30 to 40 consistent players at some times. Things were already beginning to look up. Hype was building. Eric would stream the server almost every day and show off what progress was being made. Players were all buying the beta pass and joining him for his live streams. It soon became normal for him to streaming to have over 20 players with him. Keep in mind that you had to pay to actually play on the server at this time. And even though the beta pass was only $4, it was still pretty good considering that they had to pay money to actually play. Hype was kept on building, and Eric made more and more videos. The server was being finished, and the staff team promised release very soon. On June 27th, the release day was finalized. The server would be opened up to the public later that day at 3 p.m. EST. Eric would be live streaming it, and it was going to be a big moment for the small server. At 3 p.m., Eric went live, and as the notification went out, players started to flock. Reaching over 100 concurrent players throughout Eric's live stream, things could not get any better. Even after he stopped streaming, there were over 40 players on. Players like Oxys started to grind the server, and players that were simply just bored of the Invaded Lands toxic community started to play as well. And over the next month, the server stayed like that. There were always players on, even really late, and the community was growing. Event Sumo was later added, an event that you could host if you had a rank, and things were just looking up. The developers actually were paying attention, and everyone was excited for the growth that was going to happen. This was the golden age of Kitpvp.club. However, the small server was still not perfect. The server was not fully finished by the time of release, and most of the events were not even coded in yet. There were ways you could glitch into the sumo arena, and you can even bridge all the way out to the natural survival world and get things like illegal items. And as everything, something that is not finished is not gonna last. The server was popular for about 2 months after release, but after 2 months of getting 3 tapped, the server began to become stale for most players. Updates became very inconsistent, if any, and there was only so much you could even do. Some players started to stop playing, leaving even less players to PvP, and the server started to go downhill. Almost no one from beta even played at this point. Even some of the tryhards that achieved over 1,000 kill streaks didn't even play anymore. The server was going down fast, and the devs were not even really doing anything about it. Most of the staff team straight up left. Frantically, they tried to do things like kials to bring players back online, but the players simply just claimed their rewards and left. The server was going downhill and fast. In life, one of the most important resources is time. And something that playing video games takes up is time. Soon, Kitpvp.club was released from players' server list. People had no reason to play it, no reason to grind, or no reason to do anything. They either already accomplished everything that they wanted, or they simply lost interest. And about after 4 months after release, there were no players on, even at peak times. The only people that played were the regulars, including me, Dudet, and Packbag. All throughout that time, the owners were saying things like everything is gonna be alright, and that Season 2 is coming out. They confidently said that the server would be brought up to its prime, as they were resetting stats, creating a new map, and even adding a new event. And in early September, the new season launched. Surprisingly, there were over 40 players on the first day of the reset. Eric was streaming it, and everyone was exploring the new spawn. Eric streamed the server for about 2 hours, but then moved on to another server known as Minecraft Central. Then all of his viewers followed him. That was over 50% of all the players that were on the server. The player count began to drop, just as fast as it did before. And by around 6 p.m., there were less than 10 players on. And by 9, everyone had also left. The reason that people left is not just because people had to leave, not just because of others streaming something else, but simply because Season 2 didn't really bring anything else to the table. The only thing that they changed was the map, and they even copy-pasted some of the buildings into the new areas. The new event wasn't even ready, and players were already getting bored of the server. Most of the players that were already bored logged in and tried Season 2, and found that nothing else had been changed, and then left. The devs and builders had spent over 4 months working on this new season, and were acting like it was something game-changing. But most of the features were just bug fixes, or were not even finished yet. The most important thing is, their attempt to revive the server failed. The server was already in a pretty bad state, and you could possibly think, hey, it couldn't get worse off from here. It's got to go up. But that's not the case. It was a long time before the server got players back, and it wasn't for a good reason. For the previous season, the top 3 players and kills would get a buycraft code to spend on things like ranks and crates on the server store. The top 3 players being Imps, Uyas, and Bagliok were all given the codes to spend on the server store. All 3 of them got a $15 code. Both Bag and Uyas's codes were fine, but something was different about Imp's code. He could spend more money than the code was intended to. He started on a spending spree, and even went as far as to buying his alt rank. Soon people started getting skeptical, as he started buying other people's crates and clearly spending over what he was given. In a voice call, Bag messaged Imps at what his code was, and Imps replied saying the code was simply Imps. Bag began to tell everyone in that VC the code, and suddenly anyone could buy anything that they wanted. We started to buy ourselves top rank, we started to buy crates over and over again, and we even bought ranks we didn't know on the server. For the next 15 to 20 minutes, staff had no idea what was going on, until an admin logged in. He logged in to see over half the tab boss, that's the top rank, and people opening crates left and right. He put the 2 and 2 together and soon figured out what was going on. They blocked the code and took the false earned ranks again, but it was too late. The economy was broken, and there was nothing that they could do about it. It was going very well. Then I got a full-time job, so development slowed down. Seb literally didn't do anything after the initial release, but was still taking money out of the server, so he couldn't use that money to hire other developers. Eric stopped recording, so we lost players, and eventually I decided that Seb should leave so the server can progress. However, he has the domain Kitpvp.club, and he did have the Discord server, so I asked him for him, but he refused. And instead, he threatened to sell the server because he was losing money from chargebacks. The server actually shut down because I was paying for the server license fees, but stopped paying them because I wasn't getting any money from the server. To sum that up, Bodster was basically powerless compared to Sebi. When he was the one that was doing all the work, the server wasn't really able to go anywhere because Bod and the staff team weren't really able to do anything. They were being forced to do a lot more than they should have been, and they couldn't keep up with it. Soon, the server would go down, and the Discord server would get disbanded. The staff team would continue on the other things, and the server would get abandoned. And as of today, nothing has changed. No plans released on the official Twitter, or statements regarding the situation. And it is clear that the server is gone for good. It's a sad sight to see, but a server can't support itself if it has no players on. Currently, Bodster is trying to release a new server run by himself, and plans to release it soon. It's crazy how something so promising can go downhill so quickly, but sometimes you just have to let things go. And for you, Bod, I hope you lead a wonderful future as a developer, and hope your new server is just as successful as Kitpvp.club. And for you, Sebi, I want to but can't wish you good luck at all. And you better change your ways because you can't outrun karma forever. And to all the staff at Kitpvp.club, I want to thank you for putting the server in a good light for so long, and all your attempts to help us.